Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Battle Brothers Season 3. As today, honestly, we're mostly just focused on getting over to Kraken. Our carts are full to overflowing, so there's not much incentive to continue wandering about, at least not until we clear more space. That'll also give us a chance to hit up the local taxidermist. And from there, honestly, haven't really given it much thought just yet. We've got no shortage of options. Could push even further, start poking at the wildlands, or just double back, finish filling out the desert. We'll figure it out once we get there. The important thing is really just that I'd like to see something new, so we'll see what we can do. Ask and ye shall receive. Only took 127 days, but we've finally got some snakes. Though man, they definitely came strong. Goodness. 18. Shoot, I really wanted to get more time in with the rookies too, but we cannot risk it with a fight like this. Honestly, even our veterans might have a hard time with this. Eschewing the scorching sun, the raiders made their way through the never-ending deserts in dead of night, trying to find their way back to the main trading road. But as they crested yet another dune, Arrow suddenly brought the company up short. There's something weird going on out there, but I can't make it out through the heat shimmer. Heat shimmer? Zarmal instantly seized upon the odd statement. Arrow, my friend. It might be time to take off that helmet. It's long past sunset. Beside him, Valin squinted into the desert as well, before suddenly starting. Well, he ain't wrong either. Desert's moving. And it ain't a freet. A chorus of rasping hisses washed over the desert sands, the rippling terrain growing more and more obvious the closer it drew. Weapons at the ready, raiders, Rook suddenly ordered, sounding uncharacteristically uncertain. And then the sands abruptly parted, the first of several scaly horrors looming into view. Verlin was first to advance, more fascinated than afraid of these strange new creatures. Cetrus moved up behind, perhaps less stunned, having lived in the desert all his life. He'd heard of such horrors, even seen them in the arena, but never once encountered them in person. Actually, we did encounter snakes in the arena once, didn't we? Though I suppose that experience would only really extend to the 3 raiders who participated in that particular fight. The raiders waded in, Drakiith's blade flashing, cleaving one of the creatures. Trip darting in right after, plunging his dagger into the gap opened up in its armor-like scales, stabbing about until he struck something vital. Rax rushed in, axe raised and ready. Don't see what the big deal is. They're just big snakes. Right enough, I suppose, Rook nodded. He strode forward, striking one of the beasts in the face. But the serpents, of course, didn't even blink. In an instant, Trip was gone. Rook disappearing a split second later. To the eyes of the other raiders, it was as if they had been snatched up by the hand of some scaly god itself, dragged away so suddenly they made nary a sound as they vanished from sight. Zarmal gouged away at another serpent, but failed to dissuade it from dragging Random into the fray. Tommy moving up behind, impaling another beast. Drak decapped the one coiled about Random, then held his ground, watching warily as the rest seethed in a scaly pile. An endless sea of serpentine coils. And Rax laid in as well. Cleaving through one snake entirely, axe buried into the body of a second. A jab from Verlin and another beast fell. Trip briefly glimpsed through an opening amidst the pile. "Help!" he shouted, as another pair of dagger-like fangs bit deep into his armor. He desperately gouged at the creature's eyes in return, trying to free himself from its grasp. Finding purchase between two curved ribs. "Indeed," came a distant cry. "Assistance would be most amenable." Yeah, I gotcha," Random muttered. The sensor cracked across two coiled beasts. The brittle snap of ribs, quickly chased by the sound of bitter hisses. Poisonous yellow eyes locked onto his form in tandem, and promising reprisal. Zarmal weaved in further, gouging into a gash opened by Rax's axe and tearing it wide. A giant serpent giving its last gasp as its entrails fell out en masse. A snap, and Rax vanished into the throng, though he laughed as he was taken. Another snap, and Tommy lurched forward. Fangs bit deep into his pelt-padded shoulder. Drak and Verlin worked in tandem, tearing down another beast. Oh! And a rasping gasp of pain, wheezing at the end, like a man lung shot. Not serpentine this time, but instead the sound of the company's erstwhile sergeant. A pair of daggers sunk deep in his chest. Even as Random opened up another gap to allow for more raiders to rally to the anatomist's side. Oh boy, this is not great. See, that might be a good situation where it's a good idea to have a pocket shield. Might have to consider that. Even if it is costly in terms of fatigue. Finding himself unfettered, Rax reared back. Tense muscles released like a spring, axe flashing. The beasts around him bloodied, too, brutally bisected. Val clipped another snake skull. Zar gutting the one beside. Wading ever forward as he continued to press the assault. Rook gouged into a beast at his side, keeping it at bay. And Bowman continued to lay down fire, finding an opening. Two well-placed shots, a beast at Diego's back, teetering and toppling. Even as Random struck yet another down. though the company's exsanguinated sergeant had not yet found reprieve. Already winded and wounded by his sucking chest wound, but now dragged into a plume of gas as well. Verlin advanced to his side, ready to swap out to pull him clear. Setris stepping up. Trip scaled back another threat. Diego holding 2 more at bay. Nice. One turned to flee, only to end up impaled on Ver's spear. And Zarmal moved in, his own fangs biting deep. The last of the beasts menacing the company sergeant, bloodied and brutalized. Drakiith felling one, the other on its last legs, as it were, recoiling as it found itself outmatched. Setris cracked the skull of the last on North. And just like that, the Raiders had won. Bloody and battered as they were, they still stood victorious. Rax decapping the third to last. Verlin pulling Rook clear. Random flailing the second. Oop, that's not a great place for you to stand. Sorry, Trip. He's fine. He's fine. It's fine. With the last of the savage sidewinders slithering off into the sands, its sibilant hiss lingering, echoing across the sands, long after it had faded from view. But, bloodied as they were, the anatomists quickly rebounded. The wounded and winded company sergeant swiftly directing the other raiders towards, harvesting the labors of their bloody toils. Verlin moved to help coordinate. Even Eerie came in off the sideline, eagerly lending a hand, and working late into the night until finally they emerged from their tent with a new tincture in tow. "Behold," Verlin announced, "the Quick Fang Potion. With this potion, the feared guile and precision of the hateful desert serpent is within any warrior's grasp." The excited anatomist went on to delve ever deeper into increasingly obtuse talk of exactly how this tincture worked. Pseudoscience and all, but it was largely lost on the raiders. The simple fact of the matter seemed to be that whomever drank this potion might find themselves blessed with the ability to better coordinate with their comrades, to strike in tandem, to better catch their opponents unawares. A truly enticing prize, one that Verlin and Eerie at least seemed to think well worth the price of nearly losing their peer. The Rook himself, of course, failed to weigh in, convalescing as he was in the company sick tent. But hey, he was also apt to agree once he had fully recovered. Man, that was quite a fight. I'm almost glad we didn't encounter serpents any sooner. You know, just so the first fight could really be a hair raiser. Now that they're out in force. Though, of course, that said, I would like to encounter many more. We have need of those scales for a few of our various crafting projects, In fact, that gives us all the more reason to keep cracking for Karakin. Since I believe between that and the hyena pelts, we now actually have the parts we need to make enhanced powder bags for our gunners. That's it. Let's beeline for the road and find our way to town, shall we? No more distractions. We're about as loaded down as we could possibly get. Yeah, that's fine. We'll come back for that later. I am thinking we'll likely double back and continue filling out this particular patch of fog. Oh yeah, we've got this one here too. So yeah, we can hit both of those on the way back. I mean, I said no distractions, but that is an ideal fight for our less experienced members. We really do need to get them up to at least level 7. Yeah, alright. Limping and bloodied, the raiders found their way back to the road. Though the instant they did, a distant cry for help came drifting over the nearby dunes. The raiders cresting their eyes to spy a group of nomads preying upon unfortunate townsfolk, travelers coming to or from Karakin. The raiders glanced to their captain, and he sighed, gesturing to Archer and Seymore to lead up a quick detachment. A brief detour, and their grins split wide as they quickly set off in pursuit. Ooh, that's some interesting terrain. Yeah, I really like the maps that still feel organic while still including at least some verticality. It definitely freshens things up. Diego took the lead, advancing along the edge of a precarious slope. The peddler, perhaps the most incensed by the predations of this particular pack of predatory punks. Random circled to the south, sensor swaying in almost sinister fashion as he found himself a lofty perch. Seymore pushed up as well, leaping to the lead, sword poised and ready at the edge of a rocky shelf. And one by one, the rest of the combatants rushed into the fray. No blood yet shed, but the shimmering sands eager to drink deep once it was. A toss from Tommy, the lead nomad impaled. Though still stumbling forward, right towards Rax. A pair of arrows, the first marksman falls. A blast from Mark, the cracked Whitman falls to one knee. And Rax promptly takes his head off. Advancing ever further, pushing on to the next two in line. The rest of the nomads continue rushing forward, moving to flank the raiders. One particular poleman takes position on south. Caught by another toss from Tommy. And then dashed from his perch by a random act of violence. Skull and brain matter splattering down the slope as his body tumbles out of view. Mark begins to circle, sight set on north. Rax grunts, a clatter of flails bouncing off his helm. Mal moves up, assuming Rax can take care of himself. Though Cetrus does still have Rax's back. Alois as well, a scattershot blast dashing the helm from an axeman's head. And Seymore eagerly takes advantage. A massive mace meets fragile face. A bloody squelch as nose goes concave. Verlin moves up, running interference for random. Oh, Rax, buddy. Get your head in the game, man. Another shot from Arrow. A marksman's hand. Maimed. Sword meets shield on south. A blood fountaining Fletcher dashes to north, desperately trying to stem the flow. A third marksman circles wide, taking his own lofty approach. Comrade clambering up just behind him, only to plant face first. The second he tops the slope. Arrow punctures the axeman at point-blank range, finally putting him down. A follow-up shot flying wide, sinking deep through a poleman's thigh. Diego finally dashing a flailman down slope, leaving him mired in sand. And random fells the poleman. A crushing blow caving in chest, driving him to the ground. Sigmar finally lands a strike. Sword swinging in from one side. Ragged gash torn across the scoundrel's sternum. Verlin swings in behind, the spearman promptly broken. The flailman grunts, Javelin coming in from one side, denting his helm in, shearing halfway through his ear. A blast on North. The final marksman howls as his hand is torn to bloody ribbons. Centris finally finishes off the flailman, distracted as he is with his now lopsided head. Oh, for goodness sake, guys, come on now. Really trying to leave some fresh meat for the rookies, but they are struggling. Diego dashes another spearman back, buying himself some space. Random finishes a shieldman in passing. Seymore clobbering another, cracking his skull. And Rax rushes north, no longer stymied by that stubborn flailman. But still a step shy as the rest of the nomads start to run. A blast from Mark. The final archer falls. The rest of the raiders rally north. Arrow stepping up, angling a shot over the sandstone plateau. Perfectly placed. A sprinting spearman stumbles and nearly falls, just barely catching himself before he tumbles down the slope. And Rack steps up, flanking the final foe. The hammer-wielding hooligan, thoroughly demoralized. The nomad throws down his maul, hands raised. Mayhaps he was about to surrender, but who's to say? You saw it. He was throwing that hammer at... don't sweat it. Rack shrugged. I'd have done the same. And one last arrow arced. The final foe felled. The spearman tumbling down the slope, leaving a sanguine trail behind. Not much of a fight, all told, but still pretty fun. Sadly, not much in the way of loot, but that's fine. We don't really have room for it anyway. But we'll see what we can fit. Ooh, yeah, definitely want those. And good to go. Alright. We are terminally low on foodstuff, so let's get ourselves to town. Lighten our load, then we'll figure things out from there. Ooh, interesting combo of modifiers. Feels pretty good for us. A couple of contracts on tap, too. Get that chest patched. Quick peek in the shops, just in case. Though we are not eager to spend at the moment. We're trying to save, not spend. Yeah, nothing jumping out at me. Alright. Be right back. And we're back. Oh, just shy of where we want to be, but one good contract should be enough to turn the tide. Though, that said, we would have been even closer if not for the fact that I had to also spend on a quick trip to yonder taxidermist just to craft some of our new goods. Large powder bags for the gunners, a serpent mantle just in case. Just in case we find a use for it. Let's see what we got. You enter Zuri al-Bajani, the Vizier of Treasury's room. He's feeding on fruits, and his lower half is submerged in a sea of flesh. A harem of caretakers who are noisily at work. Standing idly for far too long. You open your mouth, but the man throws a hand up. He points at one of his servants and snaps his fingers. The servant skirts across the marble floor on sandals with silken soles. He presents to you a piece of paper. It reads, "To crownlings who are interested, nomads have taken to disturbing the peace around Karakin. They are to be dealt with post-haste, for a reward of 2,000 crowns. Uninterested parties are to leave immediately." The servant looks at you for an answer. Yeah, absolutely. Decent pay, decent loot. Long as it doesn't end up being another necromancer. Though I would accept one if there were also a champion involved. Oh, that's not far. Wonder if we can actually get on this island here. Obviously not our biggest concern, but I do like to fill out the map as much as possible. Speaking of which... Yeah, we'll do this, check out that other contract, and then if that's still not enough, next time we should be pretty much guaranteed to hit 50k if we just clear those last two ruins. Enemy unknown. Implies a twist. Might not be safe to go all in on rookies. But you know what? I mean, they've got to sink or swim at some point. Yeah, what the heck? We'll take the chance. Oh, okay. No immediate event. Okay, a brutish baker's dozen. Terrain slightly problematic, though only in terms of movement. No actual defensive penalties like a swamp would have. So that's not too bad. Main issue being it'll slow our approach, which gives their archers time to whittle us down, not to mention ample cover on their side. Is this the first time we've actually had a fight in an oasis? I can't recall if we've done it before. It does make for a nice change of scenery. Tracking down their targets at a picturesque oasis just south of Karakin. The raiders swiftly closed in, some skirting around the serene pool, others simply wading right in. Ripples cascaded across the tranquil surface, a surprisingly crisp and clear fluid, soon to run red, with blood as of yet shed. And there, emerging from the brush, a gleaming figure gilded in gold. The leader of this particular lot of louts, Tawid the Pilgrim. The one the raiders had been sent to kill. Grunting as a javelin glanced off one heavily armored shoulder. Another maul-wielding miscreant, having slightly less luck, as one of Tommy's tosses tore through his tendons. Seymore grunted, another arrow thumping into his chest. A flesh wound for now, but the repeated strikes were starting to take a toll. Balin backed him up. A pair of tosses taking down one nomad. Another impaling an archer's arm. Tommy catches a cut purse through the kidney. Sigmar lunges, the shieldman ducking out of the way. The cur beyond, caught off guard, blade biting deep into his neck. Blood splatters into the oasis, spoiling the pristine pool. Arrow lays down fire. An enemy archer caught by his first shot, folding to the ground. Another shot puncturing the second's kidney. A third putting the poor man out of his misery. A blast from Alois catches a shieldman full on in the shield. The metal disc driven back into his chest, the crunch of bone, and his body flops limply behind. Tawid moves in, squaring off against Seymore. A scimitar-wielding scoundrel moving to assist. Val finds himself menaced, but still has presence of mind to huck a heavy fishing net over Tawid's head. An axeman stumbles, making it a few more steps before planting face first into the pool. Another blast from Alois. The final archer falls, leg torn to tatters. Oh, gosh. And Seymore catches a mallet to the ribs. The crunch of bone as the knight-errant is sent reeling. The rest of the raiders quickly moving to assist. Setris crushing the skull of the scimitar-wielding scoundrel. Rassel cracking an ankle on South. Sigmar playing the face off a flail-wielding fiend. Giannis finishes one of the wounded, freeing up Val. Who promptly plants a projectile straight through Taweed's torso, buying Seymore the time he needs to quickly withdraw. The heavy-set knight grunts and gasps as he stumbles into the brush. Watching from afar as Tommy finishes the final archer. And then the mallet man beside. And yet one more. Goodness. With that, the rest of the ruffians' resolve is thoroughly shattered. The raiders swiftly setting into them. Diego taking down one, Mal another. Setris moves up, skinning knife drawn. Eyeing that very shiny armor that Taweed still wears. The rest of the raiders rally around the nomad chieftain. The shing of more and more knives drawn, metal scraping on scabbard in truly ominous fashion. A flurry of stabs. Taweed stumbles and staggers. Sanguine fluids running down his mostly sundered armor. Odds of actually salvaging it at this point are fairly slim, but the raiders still give it their best shot. And down he goes, Setris finally sinking blade through sternum. The raiders quickly withdrawing from the now sullied waters, Seymore favoring his cracked ribs, but having learned a valuable lesson. Him and Giannis both. Which, of course, was the entire point of bringing them. So, even though we did lose Taweed's armor, we'll certainly take it. In fact, let's go ahead and see what we can do with them now. We'll pull our wounded, get these level ups taken care of, and then head back to Kraken. Yeah, I was somewhat tempted to linger out here, but I think we'll just head straight back. Collect our pay, see what that other contract has to offer. And, of course, unload all this loot. Hard to say if we'll actually hit that 50,000 gold threshold today, but we will get pretty close. I think it's going to be right down to the line. Oh, right, and Giannis hit 6. Hey, nice. We'll take the melee, we'll take the defense, and we'll take the 5 in health. We want to bump that up to at least 75. Then we can skip Colossus. I do think we're apt to try Nimble Forged on him. I mean, it's not a great idea, but I'd like to at least try it once. And I do like that armor. I mean, I really kind of want to keep him in it. So I'm thinking maybe brawny, battle-forged, nimble, underdog? I don't know. I'm still thinking on that. We'll bank the point for now, at least until he hits 7. I like trying new things, but, you know, I have been told that that's a really bad idea. I just like the aesthetic. Maybe if we can really bump up his fatigue, we'll just go pure heavy. As for random, much more straightforward. Melee and double defense. Yeah. And Seymore hits level 5. Which will be recover. Why not? Yeah, pretty much no matter which direction we take him in. That'll be a good one to have on tap. Oh, yes, and melee defense. And... man, that +5 in initiative is pretty tempting, but then again, so is the 4 in fatigue. We'll go fatigue. It would be nice to get him kitted in some heavier gear. We've actually got like 4 different sets of super heavy armor at this point. We just can't comfortably use them. Yeah, maybe we'll try to ramp up. Giannis's fatigue. Get him in some nice gold armor to go with the helmet. That would still look pretty good. The raiders return to Kraken, quickly collecting their pay. No gratitude, of course, but that's fine. They weren't really expecting any. Seymour's ribs get splinted. And the raiders quickly return to the market, ready to liquidate their loot. And possibly load up on trade goods? That's a pretty hard maybe. Margins aren't exactly great on that end. That said, we'll hit the pause button for now. I will take care of the usual off-screen bookkeeping. And we will pick up here next time, as one way or another, we will clear that ambition. Sadly, we're definitely not doing that today. We just didn't grab enough loot from that particular encounter to comfortably cover the gap, especially not with resupply costs. But we'll get there. Soon. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Eerie V23, Revenant, Alois, Aero Bowman, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Lady Shayna, Mark Giemza, OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.